Hello everyone, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. It's so good to have you with us, and it's so good to have our guest today with us. And I have to tell you, he is what I would call a super volunteer. Our guest is Mike Moore, and he is the president of the Coalition of
Concerned Christians.
Coalition of Concerned Christians.
Yes, commonly known as the Barberton Soup Kitchen, but we are known as the Coalition of Concerned Christians.
And you are president of that organization.
Yes, I am.
That sounds like something that I think many people are interested in or know that places like that exist, but we're going to talk about a lot of things today. You are president of the coalition.
That's correct.
You are also involved in other volunteer
Yes.
opportunities around the area, and I was really amazed at how many things you are doing, and more so, I think, even than that, is the fact that there are so many organizations that are providing services in the community, and that there is such a great need. And what is the need here?
Well, the Coalition of Concerned Christians was started in 1985 because there was a need. There was a lot of unemployment in Barberton and a lot of people going without, and there was food insecurities. And so a group of churches got together and said, let's address this need, and that's what they started out kind of small, and then it's grown over the years. And prior to COVID, we had 13 churches, and we were serving Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4:30 to 5:30. COVID changed everything. People were fearful for health reasons, and so they would back out, and so we went down to 8 churches. And I've been able to recruit a couple other churches. Oh, they're really good. First Baptist and St. Andrews over in Norton. They joined, and they've made a big impact. And so now we're back up to 10 churches, and those 10 churches serve one day. That's on a Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30, and it's on a rotating basis, so they serve once every 10 weeks.
Well, is there such a great need for people who are going hungry in our area?
Well, I would believe so, since they serve anywhere between I've seen as low as 60 to as many as 107 meals in a 1 hour span of time.
And this is something that's done every week?
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned that the coalition is of Barberton, but you said
Yes.
that Norton...
Churches from Doylestown, Clinton, Norton, and primarily Barberton, and New Franklin, it's a group of churches. They all take turns. They approach me, said we would like to help, and there's a need. And once you sit down and you see our clients, you will recognize that the need is there, and they're extremely grateful. What warms my heart is we serve in the basement floor of the First Presbyterian Church in Barberton, which is located on the corner of 6th and Park, across from the Barberton Library. And one of the things that just warms my heart, I greet our guests as they come in. I try to be there every week when the churches serve. And I greet our guests and thank them for coming and ask them if there's any issues. But one of the warm things I have is when little kids holding on to their mother or father's hands come up the steps and they exclaim, "That's the best meal I ever had." They might have a little chocolate circle around their mouth after jumping in on a brownie or something like that. And one week, one of the churches served Italian sausage sandwiches, potato skins with cheese and sour cream and bacon bits, and the homemade chocolate chip cookies, and they topped it off with root beer floats. Those little kids went crazy over that. So it's not like we might think, bean soup and a piece of bread. It's better than that.
These are meals that people can dream about.
Well, some of them. And some churches are small, and they're small churches with big hearts. They might just have ham and cheese and with a bag of potato chips, and they still want to serve to go only. They don't serve inside. So it's a hybrid model. We're still working on that, but it seems to work. I'm just really pleased that we have 10 churches that give with a lot of heart.
How do people find out about this program, and who qualifies for it?
There's no qualification. I've had people come in. I think they come in, they just want to be around people because they might be at home lonely, or they want a good home-cooked meal. They might have been a widow or a widower. I've seen many people like that. There's no qualifications or anything like that. We don't ask, are you homeless or anything like that. Some it's very obvious, but there's a lot. They have other needs. I've had people say, now I can afford to buy my medication or my gasoline, since you help offset the cost of the food. And it's enjoyable to be around because people make it fun too. And like I say, some churches, they just give you a bagged lunch, but they are so gracious and so nice. They engage and talk to the clients. And it might be on a spiritual aspect or needs that they might be able to help address. Where can I find some clothing at? Right. Well, one of the things I witnessed just recently, a gentleman who was obviously homeless. It was raining hard, and he asked, does anybody have a coat? And one of our clients got up out of his chair. He didn't know him. He says, my brother gave me a coat. Let me go up my car and I'll get it. And he went out in the car in that rainstorm, brought the coat back in, gave it to that gentleman with the hood. He was so grateful. It's really nice to see. It's not only the churches, it's other people showing kindness to each other,
That's just one thing that the coalition does, isn't it?
Yes, and in the wintertime, you'll see different churches provide different services. Mostly our focus is on food, and but some churches will bring in blankets and things like that. It might be underwear or socks, things that the homeless might need, and they give them out.
Well, how does the coalition operate? Now, you're the president of it, but how do people, or I guess I should ask, what does the coalition do? Are there other things, other services that you provide? Is food your main purpose?
Food is the main purpose to address their needs primarily. Like I said, some people come in, I know they come in because they like the social contact, they like the home-cooked food, but a lot of it is, I've had people tell me, I would have nothing to eat if it weren't for you, and I really appreciate you. And that means a lot to me.
I'm sure it means a lot to all the volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one area that you work in. You're like a full-time volunteer.
Well, I know how to manage my time well. I worked for many years at PPG Industries in Barberton, and one of the things you'd learn quickly is how to be effective with your time given.
And you must be just a master at it, because as I'm looking at things, some of the other organizations that you're involved in, and these are on volunteer basis, you're involved with the Kiwanis, you're involved with the St. Vincent de Paul Society.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the other things that you're involved in.
Well, we spoke briefly, but we call it Loads of Love. We provide free laundry services for those in need, and it's just 2 hours. That's one thing. It don't take a lot of time to help, and but it's the last Wednesday of the month. From 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we provide free laundry services. We don't touch the laundry, but we pay for it. And again, all the people come in. You don't have to sign up. You come in. You have to give your first name and how many people's in your family, because we track that, how many people we serve. And usually it's around 100 individuals are served.
Are you telling me in 2 hours you're able to do laundry for that many people?
Well, it's a large laundromat, and those some of the machines in the back, which cost $10 per load, but they do like 6 loads of laundry. They're large. And all we do is we provide the monies, and everything is on like a credit card or a debit card. We put it in there, and we're allowed 3 loads, three free loads per family. So, and we do it. That still runs it. We spend anywhere between $600 to $700 in 2 hours.
So every week, you're
No, once a month.
Once a month. That's a month.
Yes, the last Wednesday of the month.
And where are those funds coming from?
Well, I have been able to receive some grants from the Barberton Community Foundation. I've been lucky to receive that money for that, and also the generous parishioners of St. Augustine Church.
So this is a partnership with one particular church?
Yes, St. Augustine Catholic Church in Barberton.
Barberton. Well, that's something I never thought of before. We all hear about food services and that, but just how important clean clothes are to how you feel about yourself.
Exactly. You know, we've had people come to our rectory and thank our staff for providing this service, which is quite expensive. And this one couple came, knocked on the door, and thanked us, says, "Do you realize how much pride that gives me? We just got a new job, and we can wear clean uniforms to work." That makes me feel so good. And I've heard stories about how people washed their clothes in a bathtub before we came along, and we got people that store their clothes and wait for us once a month. And they come and they load up. But last night I heard a lady say, you know, I have been washing my clothes in the creek, obviously a homeless person. And so I really appreciate that. You know, we provide the soap or detergent and the washing machines. And not last night, but in the past, we have seen people bring in sleeping bags and blankets. They're pretty dirty. And it makes you feel good that you're able to help those people out.
It certainly does a lot for their self-respect.
Self-esteem,
And
yes.
I would think, too, it's the way that people interact with them if they're dressed in clean clothes or dirty clothes.
Exactly.
So that is another service. And now that is a separate...
That's right.
That's a separate...
it's supported by St. Augustine Catholic Church, and a Barberton Community Foundation has granted...
I kind of lose track of just how many organizations you're involved in. Well, I mean, you are really a master volunteer organizer.
Well, it just kind of fell in place. I don't know. Well, there's a reason I do all this. When I was a young man, our little girl came down with a terrible disease, and I asked. There was another little girl that had the exact same disease that passed away in the night. And I asked the doctor, I said, "What can we do?" I said, "I can't bear to lose this child." And he said, "Are you a prayerful man?" I said, "I've never been to church in my life." And he says, "I need you to get down on your prayer bones every night and pray for this baby. I need your help." Well, that was a long time ago, and our child was the first person to receive the drug gamma-globulin, which is very commonplace now, but she was the first one in the United States to get it for her particular ailment. It saved her life, and I made a promise. I did get on my prayer bones every night. I made a promise. You do this for me, I'll be your servant. So here I am.
Here you are. You are serving through many organizations.
Yeah, I just try to help. And you know what? It's its own reward. When you see these little kids, like I told you about, coming up the steps, smiling with a big chocolate ring on their face, or people walking out of a laundromat, thanking us, "God bless you, really appreciate you," that type of stuff, you know, that goes a long way. But anyway.
Yes, well, tell us about some of the other organizations.
Okay, another thing I'm involved with. I'm vice president of the St. Vincent de Paul Society through St. Augustine Church in Barberton. And I'm really proud to be part of that, but that, believe it or not, takes a lot of my time. The rest is it's not bad. It's not. But St. Vincent de Paul, because there's so much need, we help people with utilities, food, gasoline, and rents. And St. Vincent de Paul in Wadsworth also does the same thing, and they are a much bigger organization than us, but they do the exact same thing. They do, since this is a Wadsworth station here, but they also have free laundry services in Wadsworth, and through their St. Vincent de Paul Society. But anyways, what we do, we help people, we give them direction. They might need help with clothes and things. And one of the organizations we have in Barberton is called Common Threads Closet. And I'll direct people there where they can go there and they can get clothes, small household goods, and food. And that's operated 2 days a week. It's at the bottom of the Lakeview Methodist Church in Barberton, which is just across the Lake Anna from St. Augustine Church. And they provide a lot of needs. And I can't even go on about that because there's so much they do. Like one Thursday, they provide everything from shampoo and toilet paper to and food and toothpaste, toothbrush, all kinds of stuff like that. And they give people a lot of help and direction. You know, like homeless people, help them maybe find some place to rest their head besides underneath a bridge. So, but St. Augustine, my wife and I, we also pack lunches for them too. But anyway, that's another thing. But that St. Vincent de Paul, that's the big time eater for me, because we do a face-to-face interview. You know, what the needs are. You know, like I just had 5 or 6 cases, and I had one of rent, desperately needed rent. Rent is really high. I don't know if you know that, but you're really shocked to see how much money people are paying to live in a home or apartment.
It's really a wonder where people can find jobs that allow them enough money to pay what rents are, or mortgages if they're
Right.
homeowners or trying to be homeowners.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, yeah.
It sounds like our churches in the area, and that's every denomination, it's not limited to any one denomination, seem to be really stepping up to helping with the needs of our community. I did not realize that there was such a need, such a great need in this area. We're talking basically Medina County and
Summit.
Summit County. Summit County, Medina County.
Yes.
And
because the same needs are filled in Wadsworth or Medina County too. And the city of Medina, they have St. Francis Xavier. Wow. They really help a lot of people. I'm amazed by them.
And this is done by volunteers. It's
by volunteers, all
who carry
volunteers.
the load.
Nobody gets paid.
Nobody gets paid.
Nope.
It would be wonderful if more people volunteered.
Actually, you have a lot of volunteers in Medina County. Your St. Vincent de Paul is headed up by a gentleman in Wadsworth called Bill Leahy. I don't know if you'd like me to mention his name, but he is a most impressive man. He does a lot for the residents of Wadsworth. And like I said, the St. Francis Xavier, wow, what a great organization. They've even helped me help others with financial donations.
Do financial donations fund what you're doing? Or how dependent are you on financial donations?
Extremely. Yes, I've been able to secure grants with St. Vincent de Paul also through the Wadsworth Community Foundation, but just the generous parishioners that give, and that's how we're able to do it.
When you have a volunteer, and someone comes in to volunteer, are they surprised at all that's being done?
Well, we bring them in slowly. We don't want to shock or scare anybody away. And like if we have a new Vincentian, I myself or another Vincentian's been with the organization a number of years will accompany them and show them, and then the next time how we do it, and then the next time let them do it and coach them the way through, you know. And we just kind of nice and slow and easy. Then after a while, they'll see. When they have people, it's not uncommon for me to witness people cry right in front of me when I say I'm going to help them with their. A person just had their water shut off just this past weekend, and I was able to help them get the water back on. They were toting water from the mother's house in 5-gallon buckets for their home, and to see the tears in their eyes, I said, I can help. Not I can help, but St. Vincent de Paul can help that organization. It's not me. I just do the paperwork.
And there, I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, there's a paper
with all
trail.
this. There's paperwork, there's red
Yes.
tape and all that. So there are people like you who are willing to take on that load. I know I sure wouldn't want to have to deal with all of that.
Well, like I said, when you see it, people are extremely grateful and in need. Can you imagine if you had to carry 5-gallon buckets of water for your toilet and for your sink and to wash your hair because you couldn't afford to pay your water bill? Then someone comes along and says, I can help you.
And that's what you've been saying now for all these different organizations.
Yeah.
Have we missed any? Is there anything else you're
Barberton
doing?
and Kiwanis, that's one thing I'd like to real brief, is I'm really proud of the fact I'm part of the Barberton Kiwanis. It's the Noon Kiwanis Club. We install these grab bars. And most of our recommendation comes from the Summa Hospital, occupational therapist, and word of mouth. But it's to help people. I just met a lady who had a knee replacement. She needs this to help her with her toiletries or toilet or her shower and in and out of the shower. And we do that on 12-inch and 18-inch increments. And we have installed 398 grab bars in the Norton Barberton area for people with needs. And we ask for a $25 donation to offset the cost. It don't take much. If you go shopping at any of the hardware stores, you know they cost more than that, and we install them for free. But it helps people with needs, and they're most grateful too.
It is astounding that there is that much of a need. And there certainly is.
I know, 390. Even though I've helped put in 100 of them, 398 in the city of Barberton and Norton. That's a lot of grab bars.
And I'll bet that people who are watching our show right now, that number has risen significantly, even over a few days.
Yeah. Well, again, we only serve the 44203 zip code because, believe it or not, I've had requests that go down to Kentucky and put them in. We put them in for a lady, and she told her friend in Kentucky, and they contacted me. Would you come down? I know. I would really like that. So I'm sorry. You have to get yourself a handyman, but it costs a lot more than $25.
Are you able to help people find organizations who can help them? Like, for instance, somebody calls you from out of the area that you serve. Can you kind of tell them, well, call this kind of organization or that kind of organization?
Yes, we have this. This is kind of like, I use this Barberton Community Resource Guide, and it bridges over to other national organizations too. Like Catholic Charities. That's one we use a lot. Goodwill Employment Resource, counseling services. There's a lot of places that provide that, and I use that like when I go into St. Vincent de Paul visits. Is
that brochure available from the St. Vincent de Paul organization?
It's available at the Barberton Library. Barberton Public Library prints it, and then they give them to me, and I can pass them out to when I make a home visit.
So somebody could go to their local library and probably find either that brochure or
Well,
something.
I can't speak
the
for
local
other
area.
libraries, but we enjoy this resource guide in Barberton. And I'm sure Wadsworth might have one too. If they don't, maybe you ought to build one.
Yes. Well, I wish we had more time, but
Yeah.
we are almost out of time. So tell me, if people wanted to get in touch with you as part of the coalition or the St. Vincent de Paul, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, just you can give me a call and leave me a voicemail if I don't answer, and or email me. My email's on that screen here. Yeah, I'm just as shocked as you, Porky M, but that's it. That's what I've got.
And there's a little story behind
Oh
it, isn't
yeah,
it?
my when I retired from PPG, they wanted me to have an email at home in case they had to get a hold of me for any questions they might have. And I never had an email at home. I worked the computer at work, and that's the last thing I wanted to do when I got home. So my wife, she's the IT specialist in our family, and so she generated that email, and because that's my nickname is Porky. But I thought, come on, please, Linda, I need something a little bit more professional than that. And she said, but it fits. She said, no one else is going to take Porky. I said, no, they're not going to take Porky. But here I am. I said, I'm just as shocked as you. 185 pounds of rippling muscle with just a pinch of jiggly wiggly, and that's what I get. But
Well, it sounds like you and your wife just have a wonderful relationship.
we do. I'm very blessed. I'm very,
And
very blessed.
You certainly are doing a lot for our local communities. It's been wonderful having you as my guest today.
Thank
and
you
I
for
hope
inviting me,
you're here.
Irma. I appreciate it. That's nice of you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you for tuning in today. We hope you are having a wonderful day. And if there are any services you need, I certainly urge you to explore our local resources and see whatever we have in your area. So thank you so much. For RSVP, I'm Irma Baker.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.